The inheritance of warriors, Captain Marcus Steele gripped the controls of his damaged frigate as enemy plasma fire scorched past the viewport. The Zephyrian war fleet had cornered them near the asteroid belt of Kepler 442 and his small human expedition was outnumbered 10-1. The alien ships moved like silver serpents through space, their energy weapons painting deadly streaks across the void. "Captain, engines are failing," shouted Lieutenant Victoria Cross from the engineering station. Her hands flew across the holographic displays, trying to reroute power from the damaged fusion core. "We've got maybe 10 minutes before complete shutdown." Marcus watched the approaching enemy vessels and made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. He reached into his personal storage compartment and withdrew an ancient blade wrapped in worn leather. The sword had belonged to his grandfather, then his father, and now to him. It was old earth steel, forged in the fires of human determination long before humanity had ever dreamed of touching the stars. "All hands, prepare for boarding action," Marcus announced over the ship's communication system. His crew of 30 looked at him with mixture of confusion and admiration. They were scientists and explorers, not warriors, but they trusted their captain completely. The Zephyrians were an ancient race that had controlled this sector of space for over 2,000 years. Their crystalline bodies could withstand extreme temperatures, and their technology was far superior to humanity's crude fusion engines and kinetic weapons. When the first human ships had arrived in their territory 6 months ago, the Zephyrians had given them a simple ultimatum: submit or be destroyed. "Sir, they're hailing us," reported Communications Officer Jake Morrison. His young face was pale, but determined. "Standard surrender demand." "Tell them we'll discuss terms aboard their flagship," Marcus replied, unwrapping the ancient sword. The blade caught the starlight streaming through the viewport, its surface scarred from countless battles fought on Earth centuries ago. "But we discussed them as equals, not as conquered people." The Zephyrian flagship was massive, easily 3 times the size of Marcus's frigate. Its hull was constructed from some kind of living crystal that seemed to pulse with internal light. As the human shuttle approached the docking bay, Marcus could see dozens of Zephyrian warriors waiting for them. Each alien stood nearly 8 feet tall, their bodies covered in natural armor that sparkled like diamonds. "Remember," Marcus told his away team as they prepared to disembark, "we represent all of humanity today. Whatever happens here will determine whether our species joins the galactic community as partners or as slaves." The shuttle bay was filled with an eerie blue light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Commander Vex Thul, the Zephyrian fleet leader, stood at the center of his warriors. His crystalline form towered over the humans, and his voice resonated with harmonic frequencies that made the air itself vibrate. "Small flesh beings," Vex Thul spoke through a translation device, "you have entered sacred Zephyrian space without permission. Your primitive vessels pollute our perfect void. Submit to processing, and your deaths will be swift." Marcus stepped forward, the ancient sword hanging at his side. "Commander Vex Thul, I am Captain Marcus Steele of the Terran Exploration Corps. We come not as invaders, but as neighbors seeking to establish peaceful relations. However, we will not submit to threats or ultimatums." The Zephyrian commanders' crystalline features shifted in what might have been amusement. "You speak of peace while carrying weapons of war, flesh being. Your species is known to us. You are violent, short-lived, and chaotic. The galaxy has no place for such creatures." "This sword," Marcus said, drawing the blade slowly, "has been carried by warriors of my family for 10 generations. It has defended the innocent, protected the weak, and stood against tyranny in all its forms. Today, it stands for the right of humanity to exist free among the stars." The challenge of honor, the ancient steel gleamed under the alien lights as Marcus held it before him. Every Zephyrian warrior in the bay had frozen at the sight of the blade. Their crystalline forms began to resonate with a low, harmonic hum that filled the chamber with an almost musical quality. Commander Vexthul's entire demeanor changed in an instant. His towering form bent forward, studying the sword with what appeared to be genuine fascination. "Impossible," he whispered, his translated voice carrying notes of wonder. "That metal, it bears the quantum signature of the ancient forges." Ancient? Forges? Marcus kept the blade steady, though confusion flickered across his face. "This sword was made on Earth, from steel mined in the mountains of my homeworld." "Your homeworld?" Vexthul straightened to his full height, his crystalline body pulsing with rapidly shifting colors. "Show me this weapon more closely, flesh being. If what my sensors detect is true, then everything the Zephyrian Empire believes about your species must be reconsidered." Lieutenant Victoria Cross stepped closer to her captain. She had been monitoring the alien technology with her portable scanner, and the readings were unlike anything in human databases. "Captain," she whispered urgently, "their entire fleet just powered down weapons. I'm detecting some kind of ritual energy pattern throughout their ship." Marcus extended the sword toward Vexthul, maintaining a respectful but firm posture. The Zephyrian commander approached slowly, his massive hands extending toward the blade, but not quite touching it. When he was within a foot of the ancient steel, something extraordinary happened. The sword began to emit a soft, silver light that seemed to resonate with the Zephyrian's crystalline body. Vexthul's form brightened in response, creating a harmony of light between alien crystal and human metal. Every warrior in the bay fell to one knee, their heads bowed in what was unmistakably a gesture of respect. "The blade of the first forge." Vexthul spoke reverently. Legend spoke of weapons created in the dawn times, when the galaxy was young and the great builders walked among the stars. These blades were given to the chosen guardians of each world, meant to protect the innocent, until the time of the great return. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "What are you talking about? This is just an old family heirloom." "Just an heirloom?" Vexthul's translated laugh carried harmonics of joy and disbelief. "Flesh dash being ... Marcus Steele. Your ancestors were chosen by the great builders themselves. The quantum signature in that metal cannot be replicated by any known technology. It was forged in fires that burned before our civilization learned to shape crystal." Communications Officer Jake Morrison activated his recording equipment, understanding that this moment would need to be preserved for all humanity. "Sir, I'm getting massive energy readings from their entire fleet. It's like they're performing some kind of ceremonial alignment." The truth was more staggering than any human could have imagined. The Zephyrians, for all their advanced technology and ancient civilization, were themselves guardians waiting for the return of the great builders. Their aggressive expansion through the galaxy was not conquest, but protection. They had been searching for the other chosen species, the other bearers of the ancient forges. "Your species," Vexthul continued, his voice filled with growing excitement. "You are the lost guardians. The ones who were cut off from galactic civilization for millennia. We thought you had been destroyed in the great catastrophe that shattered the Builder Empire." Marcus lowered the sword, but kept it visible. "Commander, I don't understand any of this. Humans have only had spaceflight for a few hundred years. We've never encountered any great builders or ancient empires." "Because you are isolated," Vexthul explained, beginning to pace in a pattern that seemed ritualistic. "Your solar system was protected by builder technology, hidden from the rest of the galaxy until you were ready to emerge. That blade you carry is the key, the proof of your heritage." The implications hit the human crew like a thunderbolt. Victoria Cross looked at her scanner readings again, her scientific mind racing. "Captain, if this is true, then humanity isn't just another species trying to join galactic civilization. We're something much more significant. The other guardian species will need to be contacted, Vexthil declared, his form brightening with purpose. The ethereal conclaves of Andromeda, the stone singers of the Veil Nebula, the dream weavers of the spiral arms. For the first time in 50,000 years, all the guardian species may be reunited. Marcus felt the weight of destiny settling on his shoulders. The simple exploration mission had become something unimaginable. What does this mean for humanity? For Earth? It means, Vexthil said, approaching the sword again with deep reverence, that your species will take its rightful place not as subjects or allies, but as leaders of the greatest alliance the galaxy has ever known. The awakening of ancient powers, the Zephyrian flagship, transformed around them as word of the discovery spread through the crystalline corridors. What had been a warship preparing for battle became something resembling a temple. Marcus and his crew found themselves at the center of a growing ceremony that seemed to involve the entire alien fleet. "Captain," Lieutenant Victoria Cross reported, her voice filled with scientific wonder, "I'm detecting quantum field fluctuations throughout their ship. It's like the entire vessel is becoming some kind of massive communication array." "Commander." Vexthil had summoned the greatest scholars and historians from his fleet. Tall, crystalline beings materialized through what appeared to be dimensional gateways, their forms glowing with accumulated knowledge of millennia. Each one approached the ancient sword with reverence, taking readings with instruments that defied human understanding. "The quantum resonance is unmistakable," declared scholar Zixara, her crystal form shifting through colors that had no names in human language. "This blade contains builder nanotechnology at the molecular level. It has been waiting dormant for the awakening signal." Marcus tightened his grip on the sword's handle. Awakening signal? What kind of signal? "The presence of a guardian heir in galactic space," Vexthil explained. "For 50,000 years, your species remained hidden on your homeworld. The blade remained dormant because there was no need for its power. But now, the sword suddenly flared with brilliant silver light, so bright that even the Zephyrians had to shield their crystalline eyes. Marcus felt energy flowing through the weapon and into his body, bringing with it knowledge that was not his own. Images flooded his mind, vast cities floating in space, beings of pure energy working alongside physical species, technologies that could reshape matter at the quantum level. "The Builder archives," he gasped, understanding flooding through him. "I can see them. The plans, the technologies, the purpose behind everything." Communications Officer Jake Morrison was frantically working his equipment. "Sir, I'm receiving signals from across the galaxy. It's like every advanced civilization is suddenly trying to communicate with us simultaneously." The truth was staggering. The great builders had been an alliance of species that had transcended physical existence eons ago. Before departing to higher dimensions, they had selected guardian species from across the galaxy to maintain peace and protect developing civilizations. Each guardian species had been given artifacts forged in the ancient forges, weapons and tools that would activate when the galaxy was ready for the next phase of evolution. "Your isolation was intentional," Scholar Zixara explained as the sword's light began to stabilize. Earth was protected by builder technology, allowed to develop independently until humanity reached sufficient technological and social maturity to rejoin galactic civilization. Marcus could feel the sword responding to his thoughts now. The blade seemed to extend beyond physical dimensions, connecting him to vast networks of information and energy that spanned the galaxy. "I can sense them," he said in wonder. "The other guardian species. They're awakening too." Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out. On the crystal worlds of the ethereal conclaves, ancient harps began to sing with cosmic frequencies. In the nebular cities of the dream weavers, Crystalline minds that had slept for millennia began to stir. The stone singers felt their mountain fortresses resonating with the deep songs of creation itself. "Captain," Victoria reported, her scanner now displaying readings that seemed impossible. "The sword is generating a stable wormhole signature. I think it's trying to create some kind of galactic transportation network." The Zephyrian fleet was already moving, not through conventional faster-than-light travel, but through space-folding technology that the sword's awakening had activated. Other Guardian fleets were converging from across the galaxy, drawn by the same ancient call to assembly. "The convergence," Vextil said reverently. The prophecies spoke of this moment when all Guardian species would reunite. "Your arrival has triggered the final phase of the Builder Plan." Marcus looked at his small crew, ordinary humans who had been thrust into extraordinary circumstances. "What's expected of us? Of humanity?" "Leadership," came the simple reply from Scholar Zixara. "Humans were chosen as the final guardians because of your species' unique qualities. Your adaptability, your emotional depth, your ability to inspire others to greatness. The Builders knew that when the galaxy faced its ultimate test, it would need leaders who could unite all species in common cause." The sword pulsed in Marcus's hand, and suddenly he could perceive the vast scope of what was coming. Somewhere in the dark spaces between galaxies, an ancient enemy was stirring, the very force that had driven the Builders to transcend physical. Existence was returning, and only a united galaxy would have the strength to stand against it. "The Devourers," he whispered, the name coming from the sword's embedded knowledge. "They're coming back." The unity of worlds, the Guardian convergence, took place in a region of space that had been empty for 50,000 years. Now, as ancient technologies awakened, a massive space station materialized from dimensional storage. The structure was impossibly vast, large enough to dock entire fleets, and its design incorporated architectural elements from every Guardian species. Marcus stood on the command deck of the Zephyrian flagship, watching as vessels of incredible diversity approached. The ancient station, ships that looked like living trees, carried the plant consciousness of the green spiral. Vessels made of pure crystallized song brought the harmony builders from the Resonance Nebula. Each Guardian species brought their own unique technologies and perspectives, but all carried artifacts similar to Marcus's sword. "Captain," Jake Morrison reported from his communication station, "we're receiving over 3,000 different first contact protocols. Every species wants to establish direct diplomatic relations with humanity." Lieutenant Victoria Cross was analyzing the readings from the ancient station. "Sir, the energy output from that structure is beyond anything in our physics textbooks. It's like they're drawing power directly from the quantum foam of space-time itself." Marcus felt the sword's weight at his side, heavier now with the responsibility it represented. The weapon had become more than metal and steel. It was a conduit to the collective knowledge and purpose of the Builder civilization. Through it, he could sense the thoughts and emotions of Guardian leaders across the galaxy. Commander Vexthul approached, his crystalline form now permanently glowing with ceremonial light. "The Council of Guardians awaits, Marcus Steele. You must speak for humanity in the Great Assembly." The journey to the station's central chamber took them through corridors that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions, simultaneously, art and technology. From dozens of civilizations lined the walls, creating a museum of galactic achievement that spanned millions of years. Marcus's human crew stayed close together, overwhelmed by the sheer scope of what they were witnessing. The council chamber was a sphere 3 miles in diameter, its walls transparent to show the stars beyond. Representatives from every Guardian species floated or stood on platforms arranged in perfect geometric harmony. At the chamber's center, a holographic representation of the galaxy slowly rotated, showing the positions of all known civilizations. "Guardian, heir of Earth," spoke a voice that seemed to come from the chamber itself. Step forward and claim humanity's place in the ancient compact. Marcus walked to the center of the chamber, his ancient sword now glowing in harmony with dozens of other Guardian artifacts. He could feel the weight of billions of lives depending on the decisions made in this place. I am Captain Marcus Steele, representing the human species of Earth. We come seeking understanding and offering our strength to the common cause. The ethereal conclave representative, a being of pure crystallized thought, responded first. Your species shows remarkable adaptability, Guardian Marcus. In mere centuries, you have progressed from primitive tool use to faster-than-light travel. Such rapid development suggests great potential. A representative of the Stone Singers, whose voice rumbled like shifting continents, added, your emotional range exceeds that of most species. You feel deeply, love fiercely, and fight with courage. That borders on the impossible. These traits will be essential in the trials ahead. The Dream Weavers spoke in harmonious chorus, their words painting images directly in the listeners' minds. We have observed humanity through the quantum shadows. Your species possesses something unique, the ability to inspire hope in others, even in the darkest circumstances. This quality makes you natural leaders. Marcus felt the sword guiding his response. Honored Guardians, humanity is young and inexperienced compared to your ancient civilizations. But we offer our determination, our creativity, and our refusal to surrender in the face of impossible odds. If the galaxy faces a threat, we will stand with you. The holographic galaxy at the chamber's center shifted, showing dark regions where stars were being systematically extinguished. The Devourers had returned to the galactic rim, consuming entire solar systems and converting their matter into weapons of unimaginable destruction. The enemy advances faster than our worst projections, reported the plant consciousness through rustling leaves that somehow conveyed urgency. Entire sectors go dark each day. They have grown stronger during their exile. The Harmony Builders added their analysis through complex musical phrases that translated into tactical data. Their consumption technology has evolved. They no longer simply destroy, they corrupt and convert. Civilizations that resist become part of their swarm. Marcus studied the projections, his tactical mind working through the implications. How long before they reach the core systems? With current advancement rates, calculated the Zephyrian war leaders, 18 months until they begin consuming Guardian homeworlds. The weight of that timeline settled over the assembly like a shroud. 18 months to unite thousands of species, coordinate defenses across an entire galaxy, and somehow defeat an enemy that had driven the Builders themselves to abandon physical existence. The Builders left us more than artifacts, Marcus said, the sword's knowledge flowing through him. They left us each other. Every Guardian species brings unique strengths to this alliance. Together, we might achieve what none could accomplish alone. The ancient chamber resonated with approval as the Guardian species began to coordinate their efforts. Humanity would take its place not as the youngest or least experienced member of the alliance, but as the species whose fresh perspective and unwavering determination could inspire victory against impossible odds. The birth of Empire 6. Months after the Guardian convergence, the galaxy had transformed to something unprecedented. What had once been thousands of isolated civilizations was now becoming a unified defense network coordinated by the Guardian Alliance. At the center of this massive undertaking, humanity had assumed a role no one could have predicted. Marcus Steele, now bearing the title of Prime Guardian, stood aboard the newly constructed command vessel, Terra's Promise. The ship was a marvel of combined Guardian technologies, incorporating Zephyrian crystalline engineering, ethereal conclave quantum processing, and human adaptability in design. His ancient sword had been integrated into the ship's systems, becoming a quantum key that could coordinate the actions of millions of vessels across the galaxy. Status report, Marcus requested as he entered the command center. The bridge crew now included representatives from over 50 species, all working together with an efficiency that would have been impossible before the awakening. Lieutenant Victoria Cross, now promoted to Chief Science Officer, looked up from a holographic display showing the galactic defense grid. "Sir, the Fortress worlds are reporting full operational status. We've successfully evacuated 12 billion civilians from the rim sectors and established them in protected systems." Communications Officer Jake Morrison, coordinating information flow from across the galaxy, added, "The combined Guardian fleets have taken position at the designated defense lines. Total forces now number over 100,000 vessels of various classes." The transformation had been staggering. Guardian technologies, dormant for millennia, had awakened across the galaxy. Ancient shipyards had come online, producing vessels that combined the best aspects of every civilization. More importantly, species that had never cooperated before were now working together with shared purpose. "The Devourers have reached the first defense line," reported Commander Vexthal from his tactical station. His crystalline form now bore new configurations that allowed him to interface directly with the ship's quantum systems. Initial engagement commencing in the Andromeda Threshold sector. Marcus felt the sword's connection to the vast network of Guardian forces. Through it, he could perceive the battle as if he were present at every engagement simultaneously. The enemy was everything the ancient records had warned, a swarm of converted matter that consumed and corrupted everything it touched, all Guardian. "Vessels, implement defense pattern Omega," Marcus commanded. His voice carried instantly across light years to quantum communication networks. "Remember, we're not just fighting for our own species. We're fighting for the right of consciousness to exist in this galaxy." The battle was unlike anything in recorded history. Guardian fleets moved in perfect coordination, their tactics adapted. In real time, by quantum computers guided by the collective wisdom of dozens of species. Human creativity provided unexpected strategies. Zephyrian precision ensured perfect execution. And the spiritual strength of other Guardian species maintained morale even in the face of impossible odds. But the true power of the Guardian Alliance wasn't in their technology or tactics. It was in their ability to inspire others. As word of the United Defense spread, non-Guardian species began volunteering to join the fight. The galaxy was witnessing something it had never seen before. Every intelligent species working together toward a common goal. "Sir," Victoria reported, her voice filled with amazement, "we're receiving pledges of support from civilizations we've never even contacted. The defense fleet has grown to over 500,000 vessels in the last hour alone." The Devourers had expected to face the same divided galaxy they had encountered millennia ago. Instead, they met unified resistance that grew stronger with each passing moment. Species that had been enemies for generations now fought side by side. Technologies that had been jealously guarded were freely shared. Marcus watched the holographic display as the tide of battle slowly began to turn. "The builders were right," he said quietly. "The galaxy didn't need gods or transcendent beings to protect it. It needed ordinary people willing to stand together and fight for something greater than themselves." The final phase of the battle lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Devourer threat had been not just defeated, but completely eliminated. More importantly, the galaxy had discovered its true potential. The Guardian Alliance had become something more than a military coalition. It had become the foundation for a new kind of galactic civilization. In the years that followed, the Alliance evolved into the Terran Empire, named not for conquest, but for the world that had provided the final key to galactic unity. Marcus's ancient sword became the symbol of an empire built not on domination, but on cooperation, protection, and the shared dream of a galaxy where every species could thrive. The sword that had belonged to his grandfather passed down through generations of human warriors, had fulfilled its true purpose. It had not just protected a single family or even a single world. It had helped forge the greatest alliance in galactic history, proving that sometimes the most powerful weapons are those that bring people together, rather than drive them apart. As prime guardian of the Terran Empire, Marcus understood that humanity's greatest victory wasn't in the battles they had won, but in the future they had made possible. The galaxy was no longer a collection of isolated worlds struggling alone in the darkness. It was a community of consciousness, united in purpose and infinite in potential. The ancient sword remained at his side, its work complete, but its legacy eternal. Future generations would look back on this moment as the birth of something magnificent, an empire founded not on fear or conquest, but on the simple truth that all intelligent life deserves protection, respect, and the chance to reach for the stars.